Look at these strawberries. They're gorgeous. Just transplanted them in preparation for Tyler coming through, cleaning up this whole yard. And here we are planting these strawberries in what might become known as the smoothie garden. We got some raspberries over there, we got some strawberries over here, some rhubarb behind us. And if you just ignore the garlic and the onion that's also planted in here, because you wouldn't really put those in a smoothie, we should probably rethink the name of the smoothie garden.
Why wouldn't you put
Garlic and onions in a smoothie? I can think of a number of reasons why you wouldn't put garlic and onions in a smoothie. Anyways, we're here planting some strawberries. Stay tuned. Transplanting perennials is surprisingly easy. Literally just dig it up and put it right back where you want it to go. Best time to do this is probably around the spring and the fall, kind of when the plant is just about to go to sleep or just waking up. On a nice kind of overcast day so it doesn't dry out as you're replanting it. And then after you do plant it, just watering it a whole bunch so it stays nice and happy. Some of them may die, but most will live and you'll have plants for many years to come.
So last year, we inherited this garden and it had been rototilled for, I don't know, probably 25 years. And so every year it was just, the shit was kicked out of it with basically a Vitamix for the soil. And we got it and it was basically just sand and silt. And it was hard and compacted. And so we came in and we contoured it. And actually this winter was really, or this spring was really cool because as the snow was melting, these paths were all full of water. And I have some footage for it. If I can find it, it'll get clipped into the video here. So I did come out and take some video footage of it. The year we inherited this garden, when we came through spring, the amount of erosion coming across this garden was immense. There were little rills and channels, and part of the reason that happens is the ground was thawing, but number two, there's no carbon left in the soil. So carbon in the topsoil is one of the best defenses against erosion. So we stopped the tilling and we planted a garden after we contoured it. So these beds are about 24 to 30 inches wide with mulch pathways in between. So the mulch is bringing in carbon and food for the soil food web. And to be honest, our garden sucked last year. It just was horrible. And it's because we basically got our garden off the drugs. I'm sure they're using fertilizer and Roundup in here. And so we got our garden off the drugs. And it became really clear just through observation that we had major nitrogen and probably all of the macro and micronutrients missing in the soil. And so I went to all of my neighbors last year I should say, and right now manure doesn't really have any value out here. It will very soon because we're heading into peak phosphorus probably in the next 10 years. And so I'm doing my best to accumulate as much manure for my property as possible to kind of start replacing all the hay that got removed, all the gardens that got rototilled, and just injecting as much manure, rotted manure, as I possibly can. So knowing that we had that deficiency last year, we just spent the day, or part of the day, adding about 2 inches of 3-year-old sheep manure onto every one of the beds. We've planted out a lot of our beds to perennials in this particular garden. So we're gonna have strawberries, rhubarb, Jerusalem artichoke. There's some garlic, which will transition probably next year to something perennial.
Raspberries.
And raspberries, lots and lots of raspberries. So now everything's been amended, and as we go through the season, we will probably see the results of adding all that manure. All of our gardens are going to get 2 to 3 inches of rotted manure this year. What was really kind of interesting for me as a kind of urban gardener coming out to the country here was that we really do have a shortened grow season out here. And so I kind of got a bit depressed actually last year watching how poorly this garden did. Partially because we did move to a colder ecosystem than Calgary. Not that the ecosystem's colder, but Calgary has just got tons of concrete and pavement, so it really creates a bit of a microclimate there. But when I went around to my neighbors' properties who were using manure in their gardens, they had these amazing gardens in spite of having such a short growing season. So we can make up for our shortened growing season in a number of ways. One of them is making sure that our soils are super active, meaning we've got the right stuff in them. Lots of manure, lots of mulch, with the right water systems in place. And then number 2, as you've seen on the channel, passive solar greenhouses and other microclimate related techniques that we can use to lengthen the growing season, as well as improve nighttime temperatures and sometimes even daytime temperatures, depending on what we're trying to achieve. So stay tuned. We'll do an update on this garden a little bit later this year, and we'll see how well it's working with this new addition of manure. See you guys in the next video.